sound like electro house. We did a similar thing by using colored MIDI clips. In Ableton Live 8, you can actually put in locators at the top of your set, which is very handy. And I will, once I've completed this, I will save this down as an empty project if you want to use that project to start your actual tutorial. And to begin with, basically what I did was I took a tune, took a tech trance tune, and I made note of where the changes were, where the breakdowns were, and the main riff comes in. And I've noted all those points down. So I'm just going to actually just put these into the project and show you where they are, so that you know where to change your song, where to introduce breakdowns, and so on. So at the start, we've obviously got just our beats. So I'm just going to, at the top of our set here, where you actually click to tell your locator to play. If you just click on bar 1, you can go, if you right click, sorry, you can go to add locator. And from here, you can actually rename this. So I'm just going to rename it beats. And then we're going to let that play for 16 bars. And then we're going to go to the 17th bar and add another locator. And we're going to put in a change, which means there's going to be a change occurring there. And that's going to play right up to the 33rd bar, which is another 16 bars. I'm going to add another locator. And this is going to be our first breakdown. As you can see, everything will be split into 8, 16, or 32 bar sections. So this very first section is 33. Well, it comes up to the end of the 32nd bar, which is almost a minute's worth of tune. Which gives you that sort of DJ friendly intro. Okay, so from this 33rd bar, then it's going to play out for another 16 bars, and it's going to come in again at the 49th bar. And here we're going to be playing the main riff of our tune, and we're going to let that play. Just move this locator across. Just going to drag out our drum loop here so that we can see more of our track. And we're going to let the main riff play out until the 57th bar. And we're going to introduce a change to our track. So just add an extra part here. It's going to be a change at the 57th bar, and then 8 bars after that, we've got bar 65, where there's going to be another change, like maybe the introduction of a hi-hat or another drum loop. And then from bar 65 to 73, there'll be another change. And that'll play out until bar 81. And from here, we're going to start actually removing things. So the hi-hat's removed from the drums. It's pretty much, it's breaking itself down to the main breakdown of the tune. So we're going to put in a minus change here. They may still introduce things, but generally we'll be sort of winding down to the breakdown. So bar 89, there's going to be another minus change. And 97... put another minus change. And then at bar 105, we're going to drop to pretty much almost like a silence with a big crash, and it'll just sort of hang for a few bars. And at bar 107, the main breakdown will start. So I'll just type in main breakdown, and that's going to be the main part of our tune. So at this point, we're 3 minutes into our tune, and this is going to be the main breakdown. I'll be introducing the sort of euphoric, trancey synths. And then at bar 1, 2, 3, which you'll notice if I just highlight across, we've got 8 bars and then 16. And then if we do a loop around that, you see you can actually see the 16 bar blocks that everything comes in. So at bar 1, 2, 3, there'll be a change. And you could just move this across, and pretty much every time there's a 16 bar phrase round, there'll be another change. We're going to move this one across to bar 139, where there'll be another change. And then if we move this across again, we're going to put in another change at bar 147. This is all still in our breakdown. And then this is all going to be building up, and we're going to have a drop here. So it's going to be building right up to this drop section. And from this drop, we're actually going to rebuild our track. So we're going to have all of our synths sort of building up and drum rolls coming in right up to this point, and then we're going to drop them all out, and it's going to be like a repeating synth line taken from the synth that was building up here. And this is going to start rebuilding. So I'm going to mark in 8 bars later to start rebuilding. So we'll be bringing in our snare rolls again, and then we'll just note again at 163. Got another rebuild section, so everything will be building up a lot quicker than we were before. So we've got 163 here, and then 8 bars later. Just keep building. I'll probably just rename that actually to build rather than rebuild. So the rebuild starts here at bar 159, and then we just continue to build. And at bar 171, this is the point that we build right up until. So we've got this drop, and then we start to build up again, and then we're going to build right up to this point, and again we're going to drop it, and there's going to be nothing playing, and it'll be just a big crash, and it'll sort of hang again, as we did when we come into this breakdown. And then at bar 173, we drop straight into our main riff. And we're going to let the main riff play. Let's extend this drum loop. We'll let the main riff play out until bar 81, where we'll change it slightly. And then we're going to do a quick turnaround. So at bar 189, we're actually going to drop into a new breakdown. So I'll type a new breakdown and riff change. So at bar 189, we'll drop into a breakdown, and we'll start to build that up, introducing a new riff into our tune. That'll be more sort of a driving riff. And then we'll let that continue to build right up to bar 205. And this is where we introduce the new riff. So we'll be just sort of phasing out our main riff here, right up to this point, and then we'll be able to hear our second riff coming in at this point. So at bar 205, it'll start to come in, and at bar 213, this is where our main riff go for a new riff. So at bar 213, this is where our new riff will be playing, the main driving part with our actual drums and everything back in. So at bar 189, we'll sort of break down, and the old riff will be phased out. At bar 205, we'll be able to begin to hear the new riff, and then at bar 213, this is where the new riff will be playing with the rest of our tune. And then we're just going to let it play out for the remainder of our track. So at bar 229, we're going to add another locator, and we're just going to put a change in here. So we'll introduce something back in, and then we will move across to bar 245, and we're just going to remove pretty much all of our riff for this section, and we'll be back to our beats for our DJ friendly outro. So we'll give ourselves the same amount of time, bar 261, and that'll play out for another 32 bars, and then bar 277. And we come to the end of our track, and that'll take us to almost 8 minutes in total. So from here, we should be able to easily arrange out our song, and we'll just continue on with this in the next tutorial. And like I said, I will save this file out as an individual project, so you could actually start this project using this file, and you won't have to go through and actually put all of these in. But if you do want to follow the guide of another tune that you like this sort of structure of, you could just put it into the top of your track and make notes on where each of the changes are, where the breakdowns come in,